On a recent episode of The View, Sonny Hostin tried to throw Killer Mike off his game during a serious conversation. But what followed became one of the most unforgettable moments in daytime TV history. As the discussion unfolded, Killer Mike emphasized the significance of local elections, arguing that local leadership has a more direct impact on communities than the distractions of federal politics. His words were thoughtful and impactful, but Sonny, always ready with her personal angle, jumped in before he could finish his point. In her usual fashion, she interrupted him with a statement like, "As a former prosecutor," signaling she was about to shift the conversation toward herself. However, her attempt to hijack the discussion took a dramatic turn as she brought up a completely unrelated incident from Killer Mike's past. It was a clear attempt to stir the pot, but Killer Mike wasn't fazed. He responded with poise, delivering a powerful retort. "You can dislike me, but don't lie on me." The audience's reaction said it all. Sonny's smirk quickly disappeared, and her attempt to derail the conversation backfired. Killer Mike's calm and dignified response not only diffused the situation but also left Sonny speechless. It was a masterclass in handling loaded questions and sticking to the facts without getting drawn into unnecessary drama. This exchange will certainly be remembered as one of the most remarkable moments on The View, and Sonny's usual tactics were no match for Killer Mike's composure.
I'm a former prosecutor.
Yeah.
And there were some other headlines that came out. And I was very upset about it.
Yeah.
Because it was unnecessary, and you don't do that on that special night.
Yeah.
Especially for what I read about.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna ask you is, there was an incident at the Grammys. It led to you being taken out in handcuffs and arrested. That was wrong. Obviously, it's an ongoing legal matter, so I don't know how much you can say about it.
Well, as a prosecutor, you know I can't say it.
You can't say much. But can you just give us some sort of description? Because people are they're talking too much.
I think the backstage was overcrowded. I think the winners were exuberant. And I think security got a little overzealous, and that's all. It's all, it's water under the bridge for me.
Yeah.
I'd like to say all of my heroes have been in handcuffs. Malcolm, Martin, Mandela, Medgar. I walked out with the same dignity and respect that I walked in with.
But Sonny wasn't finished yet. She quickly changed tactics, bringing up Killer Mike's past remarks about President Biden, accusing him of being too critical and withholding his endorsement. With her typical condescending tone, she pressed him, "What's your holdup?" trying to corner him. But once again, Killer Mike remained calm and collected. He responded thoughtfully, explaining that his priority was local leadership and the well-being of his community in Atlanta. "If I find a candidate I believe in, I'll support them," he said, emphasizing that his focus was on his city, not national politics. His straightforward, rational response completely diffused Sonny's attempt to steer the conversation in a different direction.
You got some attention recently.
I would implore people to just take that from it. Don't dwell on the bad stuff. And the next morning, I spent 3 hours kind of by myself. You're waiting. And the police say, "Oh my God, we've never gotten this many phone calls. People won't have to go to protest. We'll have to move you." They're panicked, and I'm just kind of sitting there, and I begin to invoke thanks. I thank God for bringing me where I was. I thank God for putting me in a space, believe it or not, by myself. Well, I got out that night. I walked out to my wife in the rain. It was like a romance movie. It was dope.
You got some attention recently for being somewhat critical of President Biden, saying you weren't ready to endorse him yet. What's your holdup there?
What's my holdup? Well, first of all, I think everyone should focus on hyper-local. We get caught up in the soap opera of federal elections, and that's fine. But if you are concerned with the federal election, you don't know who your city council or your wardsman is, you don't know who your mayor is, and you don't have a good list of state representatives or governor, then you're just a part of whoever wins the Super Bowl or fanfare. Right. So my most important election is going to be in about 1.5 years for who's my mayor going to be. I think that Andre Dickens is doing a great job around housing in Atlanta, and I don't want that to be lost. Even though we have a Republican governor, Brian Kemp, I have a good relationship with him. I like what he's done in terms of Georgia business. We've been leading business amongst all states for the last 10 years, and he brought back the Hope Scholarship and expanded it. So if you're a kid in Georgia, you're poor, you got a B average, you can go to college for free or trade school. In terms of nationally, I'm just kind of doing what my grandfather said, staying out of white folks' business and watching what happens. You know, I'm going to see what happens. If there's a candidate that pops up around September, October that needs a push that's really, and policy-wise is good for us, going to jump up. But for right now, I just don't want to be involved in the soap opera because I'm much too concerned about what's going on in Atlanta on a hyper-local level.
As the conversation continued, Sunny's frustration became clear. She interrupted Killer Mike, speaking over him and misrepresenting his words, but Killer Mike stayed composed. Calmly, he responded, "Criticize me all you want, but don't twist my words. That's misinformation." The audience applauded his dignified response, leaving Sunny looking defeated, as if she had just lost a verbal battle.
Well, you lost me a little bit with your support of Kemp, but let me tell you this.
Not support of
some of
Kemp.
his policies.
That's some misinformation. You cannot like me, but don't lie on me. I saw someone I really respect, a black woman who's a commentator.
So you don't support him, you like
said,
his policies.
Well, I support
Some specific ones he named.
Beyond that, he's the governor of my state, so I have to be involved with him because I can't divorce myself. But let me say this. If you criticize someone, don't lie. Don't say I didn't support Abrams because I did. Don't say that I don't support Democrats because I've helped get 3 Democratic mayors elected. I've helped get 2 state representatives elected. But if someone is in the king's seat, I'm not going to not have dinner with the king on behalf of my people. I have to do that.
Let me just point some of Biden's achievements out for the black community. Black wealth is up by 60% relative to pre-pandemic, the largest increase on record. Has helped 8 million renters and their families stay in their home, over 40% of whom were black, and the largest effects in majority black neighborhoods like yours. Delivered investment of over $7 billion to support HBCUs, put $1 billion into Head Start. Whoopi's gonna like that. A program where more than 28% of children and pregnant women who benefit and identify as black. So those are Biden's accomplishments. And
What made this exchange so impactful wasn't just Killer Mike's ability to stay composed amidst Sunny's interruptions. It was his ability to refocus the conversation on the bigger picture. He stressed the importance of honesty and respect in political dialogue, pointing out that misrepresenting someone's words or dragging up irrelevant past events isn't just unhelpful, it's downright disrespectful. As the conversation neared its end, it seemed like Sunny might finally relent, but she made one last attempt to derail the discussion. This wasn't the first time Sunny had tried to dominate a conversation with her prosecutor-like questioning and constant interruptions, but this time, it backfired spectacularly. Rather than discrediting her guest, she exposed her own inability to foster a respectful, meaningful conversation. The situation turned into a bad look for her, serving as a stark reminder for all of us about the importance of listening and allowing a genuine dialogue to unfold. Moments like this highlight why shows like The View often face criticism for lacking balanced, thoughtful discussions. Instead of facilitating real conversations, the hosts frequently appear more focused on stirring drama and pushing their personal agendas. But hey, that's just my take. What do you think? Do you believe Sunny crossed the line, or was she just doing her job? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content.